in a proper British way, let's make a cup of tea and then we can get right into it. Remember, milk in first, let the tea sit. Right, tea has been secured. We haven't taken the bag out yet, it's still brewing. I'll let it do its thing. On the old coffee table, tea table. And I brought with me my journal, I guess, notebook. So the mic as well kind of sucks on this. I'm only using the phone's mic. I haven't got an actual mic. We'll see how I feel with this. Like if I enjoy it, then I'll get a mic and try and increase the production, I guess. But this is just going to be like sort of a rambling, maybe like an online journal or a place where I can just share my thoughts. I got a lot of those right now. I got a lot of time to think for myself and see what I want out of things, and this came as like an echo, I guess, somewhere inside of me. Let's see how it goes, how I feel like sharing my thoughts and doing something creative. Like I like writing, I like journaling and decorating, you know, the things like this, but when it comes to actually creating something, I quite like this format of just talking and filming. So we'll see where it goes. If it goes anywhere, cool. If it doesn't, whatever. It's basically just for myself. And if you find value in it, then I'm glad to hear that. But cheers with a cup of tea. I hope wherever you're watching you have a cozy tea or coffee with you, or hot chocolate. What is on my mind is choosing actually for yourself what it is and how it is you want to live. I've been thinking about it recently, and I thought that I've been living my life how I want to be living it. I've been living it, I guess, carefree, without any goals. I've just been sort of free flowing it. And it took me having an injury 2 weeks ago. I'd had an injury, I won't go into what, but it's given me like time just to rest and I really think where it is and what it is I want. Especially in the online world where you're watching, you're on that. Like the world is so, you must do this or that, or this productivity hack, or this spiritual thing to become a better person, and great, that's good. You should definitely always seek to improve and like keep your horizons like far, your eye is on the horizon at all times. But that being said, live a little, live life. Like not everything should be just straight that way, it should be here, because this is where we are, right? And I know it's cliche to say that, but yeah, I mean, for me, I look back and retrospectively, I don't think I've been living a life that I really want. It's kind of taken some time to get here, and I kind of crashed out last night. I was like, what have I done in the last, I don't know, 5 years? And it's like, I've done a lot of inner work in the inner sort of sphere, but outwardly, I've really not got very far. In the last 5 years, my parents split out, which is what caused the whole introspection and like inner compass sort of inner like drive to get better, I guess. So trauma kicked it off. I don't even want to use the word trauma, but you know what I mean. Like something bad happened, and yeah. So I started. Then I went traveling. Well, no, I was at university at that time. I quit. I then went traveling, came back, got a 9 to 5 job in construction, got bored of that, then tried doing personal training at a real place, didn't like that. Then I went traveling again, and this is in the span of 2 or 3 years now. And that was last year. Tried online personal training, didn't like that, and then kind of just floated around. Then got myself another 9 to 5 job in construction, which I enjoy, but I haven't got very far in terms of my own goals. Like, I haven't really had any goals. I find it hard to put down what I want and then work towards it, because I've also found in my own mind like a spiritual sort of, you could call it a trap, where you put so much effort or attention to the spiritual world, which may or may not exist. I think it exists, but it may or may not, right? Let's just keep it at that. And then you live so much in this intellectually spiritual world that you neglect the actual world itself. And so, whilst in my mind I've made progress in becoming a better person as I've grown up, naturally that's what happens, but I've just felt like I've escaped into this other world, this like real world, and it's I've just come to realize it's silly, like that. Yeah, spirituality is real and it's improving yourself always, but to focus so much that you neglect the actual real life, like this one we're living, like right now, and to be like, well, that goal is not real, because in the end we're going to die and we're going to move on to this other place, or we're going to get reincarnated, or whatever you believe. It, like, this existentialism pulls you out of yourself. And so I've just kind of felt like I've been sleepwalking, and the traveling, the online business, these things which I thought I wanted, I think were just things that I grabbed from other people. And right, those people that I took it from was their truth, right? Traveling was a few friends of mine's truths. Business, that's their truths, right? So it's just taken a lot now to come back and realize that these grandiose things which I thought I wanted actually isn't what I want. So what I'm saying here is, like, maybe it's worth stopping a little bit and just thinking, what is it you want? And I know it's easy to say that. Everyone says it. You know, you've scrolled past 3 or 4 different videos saying it, and if you've watched this far, well, great, congrats. But every production or self-improvement or onward, like getting better, that's the core of it, that's the foundation. But are you really, like really looking deeper into here, or into your mind, wherever you want to, I'd prefer heart, and ask what it is you want? Because you can waste a lot of time like trying to do things that you don't think. Like, I'm lucky that I've never had overbearing parents. When I was like teenagers, in my teens, they weren't very pushy, maybe to my detriment, I guess. My dad had ideas of me going into the army or military or engineering or something like that. And I went to university because I felt like I wanted a challenge, but not because I wanted to. I felt like doing that thing would improve like how people saw me in real life, basically. And that's what it comes down to, is like, you know, it's great to surround yourself with the real people that are doing the things that you want to do, but also beware, is it what you actually want? And at the time, I mean, if I went back 2 years, I'd be like, yeah, this is definitely what I want. But now I look back, I was always very flaky. I would set things to do, I would do my bullet points and my productivity stuff, and at the end of the day, it'd be like 1 or 2 ticked off, and I'd feel like absolutely like worthless, because, well, this is what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to write down your lists and tick it off. But it never meshed with me. Never meshed fully within myself. So I'm in the process of finding what that looks like. But in that, you might have to look deeply, and who knows, maybe you don't, but for me, I've had to look inside. For example, in my own life, I didn't realize I was like I was an overthinker. Like it was something I just did and I live with, and it wasn't until like 5 or 6 consecutive days in a row, different people would be like, "You're just overthinking. You're overthinking. Sounds like overthinking. Sounds like you need to just chill out and relax." And that's like contrary to the sphere that I kind of came from, was like the hustle, grind, make a load of money kind of sphere, and that's good. Like, I want to make money, sure, but not like if I look like really deep down, I don't want to sacrifice my like every part of my like day, all my energy just focused in that. That's not my truth, and that sounds fluffy in itself, but it's not. And it's taken like 3 years to decide that, to even entertain the idea that maybe this isn't my thing. One sec. I thought I was going to sneeze. Maybe this is not my thing. It's actually someone else's, or a community's, or a group, or like as an ideology even. Like, it's bigger than that now. I feel like to get anywhere, you have to really hustle and you have to put the work in. And obviously, that's true. Like in martial arts, for example, you'll never get to a black belt without consistently showing up and like humbling yourself to someone who's better than yourself. Same is true with what I've seen in business. Not that I've made anything of myself through that, but the practice is still there. But for me, I never doubted that I needed to work hard. You need to put the hours in. You need to be willing to fail 1,000 times in order to get anywhere, in order to get to the vision. But my problem is I don't actually have a vision. I have things that I think I want, but I'm not sure if you've come across like when you almost like mood board what you want out of life. So what material things do you want? Well, I want this car or that watch or this property by the beach at this place, and then you work out how much that costs, and then you have to obviously scale whatever you're doing up to match that so you can finally get there. But I always had like a bit of a hole in my chest when I was doing that. Like, all right, here's this. So I want what car do I want? Well, I don't want a Ferrari. Pointless. I don't see the point in that. I'd rather put the money elsewhere. Okay. Maybe a Land Rover, like a Range Rover Classic. An old Mercedes 190E. That's cool. But like, it doesn't make me want to get it. Like, I'm pretty indifferent actually whether I get that car or not. It's like, it doesn't drive me. And then the next one, what watch would I like? Oh, well, Rolex sounds cool, I guess. So, Rolex. I like the day-date one, the basic one with the blue face. Okay. Oh, yeah, so what about the house? You're getting the point, right? Like, you write this shit down, and it's like, it's just written down to me, there's not like an actual want. So I always felt when I was doing those things like a bit of an imposter. Like, I'd speak to guys who were like, they've written all this stuff down and they were like dead set, gonna get it. And now a few years later, some of them have, and it's like, well done, kudos. Like, I'm bravo. You put the work in, you get what you freaking deserve, right? But I never felt that, and it's strange because I feel I function as a person by just sort of feeling. I feel through the world. If you've ever read into Greek mythology, I'm more hermetic. I'm like Hermes, I guess. That's who I relate with. Ares and Hermes, the god of war. Not that I like war or anything, but he's like a passionate, warrior-esque sort of god. And he's like, I guess you could say not the most human, but you could relate to him. And also Hermes, psychopomp, travels between worlds. He's like a wanderer. And then Dionysus, like, and these are very feely gods. They're not like Apollo, or Zeus, or Hades. They're not like Hedy or Hephaestus. They're feeling types, and I resonate with that more. So no wonder it didn't work for me. Like when I write something logically down, it's like it just doesn't pack the punch. But if I can feel it in the world, living through the world, through images and symbols and aesthetics and things like that, then I feel I can imagine myself living that. And that was just today actually, where I was like, I just kind of journaled. And the big thing is like, I want to be myself without the guilt of being myself. I don't want to feel this shame to not want a lot or not need a lot. Like, I don't need to live in a penthouse in New York or London. I don't need that. I'm indifferent to that, It's like, last year I went to Egypt with a few awesome guys, and we were getting like, I think we were at a 5-star restaurant, or a 5-star hotel. And, I've never had that sort of service before, like the level of service, people coming and like all times. So I just felt like, I kind of grossed out by it, to be honest. Now that I look back, I'd rather just go to the kitchen and make my own food. I'd rather do that myself. I don't need a chef to cook me like meals every day. It doesn't appeal to me. But in our heads, we're like the media, social media, even friends, like that's some things that they want. And again, no judgment, like not judging. You do you, do whatever you want. But to accept that for me was like quite a deep thing that I just did not care. And all the things that I like are quirky anyway, I guess. Not many people. I mean, it's niche, I guess. That's what I'd say it as. I don't want to come across as like I'm the be all and end all. It's not that at all. I'm just a guy with a different dream, and that's what I come down to. Is being just being you, and accepting that you are who you are. There's no point in trying to change your nature unless you want to, unless your nature is to change your nature, then go ahead. But I don't think mine is. I'd like to live a slower life. And this is like, again, I've just written it down, like I underlined it, like the idea for me, or one of the bigger issues was feeling like I had to be bigger than I actually was in order to impress other people. That's nonsense. Then you're living for other people. Like, there's this shame to be yourself. And I picked up a book called, what is it? It's by Tom Bradshaw, I think. Something about shame. Bound by Shame, something like this. And it talks about how when someone embodies like being ashamed of themselves, they split their personality, and the real person basically dies off and like atrophies, because you're worried to be that in every moment of your day. So then you put on a mask, you become a persona, and that's how I've been living. I like, firstly, to impress my father, and I know there's been books where it's like, live like your father's never, like he's died, basically. Not that he has, or if he has, I'm sorry, but like live without that guilt in your mind. And then to just be yourself and accept that you are who you are. Again, it's just been it's been really tough for me. Like, I've been living this world with a mask on, and when I try and take it off, like, there's parts of me which is like almost revolted at myself, and why should I feel that way? So that's what I'm getting into, and this whole, I guess, video is just a rambling on that discovery, and basically I'd like to make just a week by week series, I guess. It's just exploring that. And it's funny, when I mentioned earlier about Hermetic principle and being like Hermes, he was a messenger. He was someone who articulated things and spoke, and he was like an orator. You know, he's the messenger of the gods. He's the medium between which the gods speak to mortals, or goes to the underworld to bring the message. I mean, he did that a few times with Hades. And like, it's not saying I'm living my life just by that, but that's kind of what mythology is anyway. It's like a path. It's a path up the mountain for you to follow, and yeah, we'll see. I'm not saying again that I'm like some herald of the gods. Again, I'm a man, I'm a mortal. But it's just kind of a skill set. It's something that I'd like to do. I have kind of a philosophical mind anyway, and I think deeply into things. And if I can give a morsel of hope or courage, or just like my story sort of resonates with anyone, then I'd like that. It's like quite an admirable thing. Again, in my life, like in terms of goals, there's not things that I want, but there's like states of feeling and experience, and one of those would be to share and uplift others. That's like a very noble thing in my mind. I like that because we all suffer, and I think if there's anyone just to give a hand, I think that's a very nice, kind and warm-hearted thing to do. So that's what I'm gonna try. And the other one, slow living, craft, activity. Right now I can't even go for a walk really, because it's just sore, my injury. So it's just giving me time to come back in and just be with myself. So take it or leave it, you know, but I'll come back, and I'll try at least to come back and share my thoughts and express my feelings, and hopefully it touches some of you guys. So that's that. Don't live with guilt.